Hi Fixer family, it's Charmin, and I know, long time no see, but I am here today to share with you an awesome project, and I can't wait to share with you how I created this. Welcome to Fixin To. So here's what we need to start this project. Of course, we're going to be using a piece of scrap wood, and I'll show you how I cut this in just a minute. It's a 2x4. I'm going to be using some paints, black paint, yellow paint, some pink, as well as silver, just different what stuff I had on hand. And I'm going to be using some blue painter's tape, scissors, and some paintbrushes. Now let's take this outside and go ahead and show you what I did in cutting this 2x4. Now it's just a piece of 2x4 that I had, and I'm going to cut this at 14 inches long. Go ahead and get that just evenly cut off. And guys, the miter saws are really easy, especially the ones that they have out today. They're super simple, nothing to be afraid of. Mine has a little light that helps with the level, and my just simple has a switch at the top, and all I do is line up my board, pull the little button, and cut the piece of wood straight through. Super easy to do, guys. It's nothing to be afraid of. Now I'm going to be cutting the angles on the top there to make the end of the pencil, and I'm using a carpenter square, and I'm just finding the center of the board, because you know 2x4 is not technically 2 inches by 4 inches so you have to kind of find your center there. And then what I'm going to do is take and draw a little bit longer line down the center, just so that I can make sure that I get it to the point. Now in cutting a miter saw, and I totally forgot to show you guys that on my particular saw, the little handle that is right here, you just squeeze it and then you shift it over, and there is a mark there that shows you the 45-degree mark. Once you get it set there, of course, line up your little light there, and you'll be able to cut off each side to make your point. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and just sand this, and I'm using 120 grit sandpaper with my little palm sander here. Just going to get it good and sanded on all sides and around the end. After getting it fully sanded, we're going to bring it in, and we're ready to mask off the areas to paint. And the first part I'm going to do is, of course, the eraser on the square end of the 2x4. And for me, I just eyeballed it, but it is about 2 to 2.5 inches down from the square end. And I'm just going to put on some painter's tape, getting it lined up so that it meets, just perfectly on there, so that we don't have any, little I guess you could say little bumps in it. But I'm going to put it on there, rub my finger across it super well, just to kind of help make that seal with the tape. And now we are ready to put down some paint, and I am using Craft Smart acrylic paint in the color Bright Pink. And just going in, and I do wind up putting 2 coats of paint on here. And right here, guys, you'll see that I accidentally poured way too much on there, and I mean, it was, this was funny. So I just kind of dumped it out over, and I had plenty of paint to put a good coat on it, and then I went back and did a second coat. So we just kind of smeared that all over the place. Oh, the joys of crafting. I love it. Now we've put 2 coats of paint on here, and we've gotten this fully dry, and as you see down there in the corner, I did use my hair dryer to help out with that. I'm going to go ahead and pull off the painter's tape. And then what we're going to do with that, you might have just a touch of bleeding in there, but with the next level of paint that we're going to put on here, we'll be able to touch any of that up. And so now we're just going to go in. I'm going to go ahead and put the painter's tape here at the bottom, leaving that strip that's probably about a ½ inch to an inch long, wide. And this is where we're going to put the silver. Also tape it right there at the top over the pink, so that we can get a good crisp line on it. So the paint that we're going to be using is Folk Arts metallic paint in the color Sterling Silver. Now this Sterling Silver definitely needs more than one coat. For me on this, the color I was going for, or the coverage I was going for, is actually I used about 3 to 4 coats. It is totally up to you, but I wanted to make sure that I had that silver metal band look to this. So once we had got that on, got it painted, dried between each coat, I went ahead and pulled off the tape. And guys, this is super satisfying. I love it. But now when I pulled the tape off of my pink paint for the eraser, there was a couple of spots that you'll see here that the paint kind of pulled up a little bit. I just go in and touch that up, and then a couple of bleed spots with the silver. So just going in, touching those up with your paint, super easy to do with a fine tipped paintbrush. So no pencil is complete without a pencil lead, and so I grabbed a pencil and used it to kind of create a little bit of a curved line right there at the tip. Now as you see, I did do all of the painting all the way around, and so I'm doing it with all of the whole thing. Everything I'm painting it all the way around, and I just do a light little curved line on there, and then a straight line on the edges to create my pencil lead. And just grabbed my apple barrel acrylic paint in the color black, and just go in with my fine tip brush and go ahead and fill in the pencil lead. So now it's time to paint the yellow, and what I'm doing is I'm going to take approximately 1.5 inches or a 1.5 inch square piece of painter's tape. Now I mean it's just approximate, and I'm going to be making little triangles with them, putting 1 on each of the short sides and then 3 pieces across the top. I hope you can see kind of what I'm doing here, and that makes it kind of look like this is where you would sharpen a pencil. And once we get the tape there, then we're going to of course go to the other end and cover up our silver so that we can get the yellow paint right up to the edge there. And with this, I only did 1 coat of the Craft Smart Bright Yellow. And that is because I wanted the wood grain to come through, and I feel like that this really makes this look like a pencil. So I just put 1 good coat on all of the 2 bigger sides and the 2 shorter sides. Now that all is dry, we are ready to personalize it. And guys, I just used a scrap piece of black vinyl that I had and created a stencil for the teacher, and it's just getting it lined up there, and of course using some transfer tape to put it on there. I'm just using a ruler to make sure that I've got it nice and centered, and then we're going to put that down and then peel off our transfer tape and get ready to paint it. Once we have our transfer tape off, we're going to take our finger and just rub it around all of the letters to kind of help seal it. But then I'm going to go back with some of the original color, the base color, the yellow, and put it on there to help create a seal, because if it's going to bleed, it will bleed mainly the original color. So then we're going to go ahead in with our black, doing the same thing and putting just dabbing motion, putting that in there into the stencil, and then we'll be ready to take it off. Now you're ready to peel off and reveal your little masterpiece here. The last thing that I do once I get the stencil off is I will take a piece of twine and tie it around the silver area there, just to give it a little finishing touch. I hope that you guys love this as much as I do. I'm so glad that you joined me today, and if this is the first time you're joining me, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Consider sticking around and becoming a part of the Fixer family by hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload new videos. I upload videos on Sunday and would hate for you to miss a single one. Always remember that you guys are absolutely amazing, and to keep looking up, because that's where it all is. I'll see you on the next video.